Jackie and Laurie Show. The Jackie and Laurie Show.
Wow.
That was it.
Different setup.
Different setup. We're without Kyle. Because
Yes.
Kyle has a career as opposed to this, where he just laughs at us for an hour.
Well, we're at your house.
We're at we're
And
in
it's
my living
quite
room.
cozy.
Isn't it nice?
I love it. I don't know what changed, but the flow is better.
Well, we bought new furniture.
Yeah.
And because our old furniture, I never knew I wanted matching couches until I got at the Salvation Army got matching couches.
Oh my
Couch,
God.
love seat match, chair different, and they were just we had gotten them at the Salvation Army, and this is the
The
first
chair looks like a cousin of the couch.
right. Well, that's it, and it works real nice, and it's not that 50s style because
Yeah.
this house is 1951.
Yeah.
And Andy wants to do the whole thing in 1950 style, but he also wants to blow out the
Okay.
kitchen so that we could seat more than two people in it.
Oh,
And-
an open concept like Chip and Joanna on HGTV. That's what he wants.
Is that what he
It's
wants?
for pure entertainment purposes?
Well-
You'd be the first person to actually have entertainment
In
and
such
parties
an event?
after they blew out their kitchen. I don't think anyone else does. I think it's a fantasy. They're
That they're going to entertain.
Yeah, that they're serving to people who want to. They wish they led certain lives,
Right.
and they don't.
Or-
And I'm talking about me.
And what we are doing is tomorrow we were going to have D&D, and there's 6 of us, and it's too many for this house.
Yeah.
And so this table, this coffee table, goes up, and then it unfolds and turns and becomes a giant table.
Right.
And so we had to cancel D&D because one of his game designer buddies is in crunch time, so has to work all weekend, and it's a
okay.
90-hour week. So, but we're just going to have board games. So, of course, you're welcome to come over and play board games, and you're welcome to not.
I will take the second option of not doing it.
good.
My son's going to get a bike. He wants to bike to school.
Okay.
And so we're going to go. Some guy's selling a mountain bike for like $125. So,
Oh, nice.
so a mountain bike.
And has he ever had a bike?
A long time ago. And
Like when he learned to
rides
ride?
his friend's bike. So he's like, I'm cool. I know what I'm doing.
I know. I know what I'm doing.
And it's cutting out in my phone. Is it?
Yeah,
Is that okay?
it's the one. This is the most expensive setup in the whole wide world. This piece. Didn't spend enough money on it. It's 11 cents.
Oh.
It's still recording.
Okay.
But it's whatever.
So that's what I'm doing tomorrow.
Okay.
And I have just spent 2 weeks running errands for the children stuck under the Ghost of Christmas Presents fucking robes, which is my mom and my son. Just she was on some medication that she couldn't get, and the result
Okay.
of her not being on it for like 5 days was horrific diarrhea
Oh my God.
and horrific whining
Because
and
she
being
was in
unable
pain.
to do anything. And
Right.
because that's her personality.
Right,
That's the
because
number
she's
one
also
reason.
a pill. But
Right.
but the thing is she couldn't get, and that's bananas.
It was awful.
And
then
she got him now?
we did. So I had one night where, so I got a carpool going for water polo,
Yeah.
so my son could have like a normal, semi-normal life, with a
Right.
comedian mother.
With other
Yes. And so I'm gonna, what was it? I had to pick up drugs from my mother.
Yep.
Run to the do a set, then run out to South Pasadena to pick up my son and the other kid in the carpool, and then bring him back. And everything had to work on time, and I was really fucking stressed out about it.
When I first moved here, back in the 12th century,
Right.
it was 96 or 97. I can never remember.
Yes.
But the thing is the Ha Club was at that place where it was a marquee on Lankershim.
It just moved a couple doors down.
It just moved a little bit down.
It's nice.
And it's, I can't imagine it is.
It is. I just had a set there last night that was fun.
You had a fun set there.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. It's fun.
All right. And the thing is I don't know why I'm such a fucking snob. Except
I don't
that
know
they
either.
Because they were mean to me. That's why when I first moved here. They were fucking assholes. And so
Is that an Armenian thing?
it might be. Did you see what Augie posted about me today?
No.
He was at the zoo and he found my new nickname, which is they were at the Armenian Viper. They were looking at some snake, and it's called the Armenian Viper.
Well, because Terry and Jack are Armenian. Maybe your family
are they the people who owned?
disrespected their family back in the old country.
Oh,
You have
no.
to consider that stuff. I think that your people hold on to grudges.
My people haven't been my people for over 100 of years. So we've melted. And that might have been why he was pissy at me. But have they always
see.
owned it?
As far as I know.
I thought it was owned by Italians. I don't know why.
No,
But we're immigrant heavy in Los Angeles, you guys.
So I have a set tonight at
The Laugh Factory. Fancy. Where will you park?
dude. Finally, first I'm at Jetpack at Bar Lubitsch.
Oh.
And I'm gonna go up early right after
Nice.
this, and then I have a 10:10 at the Hollywood Laugh Factory.
Oh, there you go.
So it's gonna be pretty
2 sets.
stuff I know that works, so I can kill.
Right over at the Laugh Factory,
Yeah,
for sure.
but I feel like I can have a little more fun
At Bar Lubitsch.
Bar Lubitsch.
yeah. Lubitsch.
Lubitsch. What did you say? Lubitsch?
Yeah, I always say Lubitsch.
Okay.
Is it with a CH?
Yeah,
fuck it.
it's bitch. It's Lubitsch.
It's a bitch.
Yeah.
And I usually call it Bar Lube. I think I'm doing the Pleasure Chest next week.
Nice segue from Bar Lube to the Pleasure Chest.
That's why.
would you
That's what
say?
made me think of it.
Sure.
And so you seem tired.
I do.
I
am. I'm like, my life has been, like you have little windows of opportunity to sort of relax.
Yeah.
All of them were filled with things to do. This is like 2 weeks worth of stuff.
2 weeks of no
and
down.
I'm like, finally, her fucking diarrhea is gone, and my kids, whatever. That
Has a life. He's living. There's some.
It goes
pattern.
up and down. I get an email, you never want like a 3-paragraph email from a teacher.
No, you do not.
So I get home on like Wednesday, and I say to my kid, "We're going on a walk," and we walked for like an hour. We had a
talk.
meeting.
Gotta have a family meeting, but we gotta
had a
do it
meeting.
away from our mother.
Yeah, and
Yes.
then I suggested that he was ruder to female teachers, and I said you might want to look and see if you're being sexist. And he, while claiming he can't do math, within seconds had figured out the percentages of female teachers to male teachers, and that it wasn't any higher.
His rudeness was very egalitarian.
Yes, it was exact. Yeah, and it was it tracked with the percentages of teachers. And he's like, I was rude to Mr. Lewin in 5th grade, and that's a guy, but he figured out it was like 14% versus whatever. Pretty quickly.
Yeah, well, good for him for knowing his jackass ratio. But you might want to get it together anyway. It's I had a lot of drama in my life in Chicago.
Yes.
I did 8 shows, 4 at Zany's Rosemont and 4 at Zany's Old Town.
Right.
And interesting, you could tell that Bert has been in the business for 10 years longer than I have because he's crafty. He's fucking crafty.
He's
to get
the
me to-
owner of Zany's.
He is part owner.
Yeah.
And then there's other people that are owners, and
Okay.
there's all these. There's a lot of drama. St. Charles just closed.
I know.
They run it real old school, and
But they don't have a check drop, which is pretty new school, and I love.
right. Well, I don't think they have had a check drop in decades.
Ever?
I think that they've
Oh,
always
wow.
been. They might have been on the forefront of that. So that's exciting. And but they do that thing where they have one comic host for the whole month.
Oh right, yeah.
Yeah.
Like a local,
Like a local headliner
Local
or a
talent
local
or something.
anybody.
Yeah.
And I don't know what I would do with that space. Like if the 2 guys who did it this time, it was Vince Moranto.
Yes.
And then Kevin Naughton.
Okay.
Kevin Naughton, who I featured for in Tulsa back in the 90s.
Oh wow.
But they're both Chicago comic based. And if they can work a month, and they were doing essentially a month and a month and a month, so they didn't have to drive out of Chicago to do road work.
Yeah.
For the worst months of driving.
That's great.
Yeah, so that's why one would do it, right? And but you have 10 minutes. You have to make sure everybody knows about, the raffle and the bathrooms and the whole thing. But then you have a chance to work on, if you want, new stuff.
Sure.
Or just do crowd work and riffing. And I think you could get sucked into just doing riffing sets where you're like stock lines, where you're from.
Yeah.
You're just in town for supplies.
The old Scott Edwards method at Laughs Unlimited. Did you ever work Laughs Unlimited in Chicago?
No,
in
Sacramento.
Yeah,
in Old Sac, the worst name of any part of any town.
Jackie, you've said that before, and I'm angry again. It's the best.
It's so
it's
gross.
a great name. It never crossed my mind that it was gross till you brought it up.
And let me say, I got all kinds of weird memories about Scott and his weird club.
And Citrus Heights as well. Yeah, but Scott would do the same 15 minutes up front. He did it for like a decade and a half. And he didn't want to be a comic. He just wanted to host his show at the club he owned.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
I did it, I think, one time. I only did it once, and I was featuring, so it must have been late 90s, early 2000s, because I was still featuring around here, and it was for an up-close magician. Do you remember how that room looked?
Yeah.
It was long.
Yeah, right.
It was deep and dumb to stick an up-close
Were
magician
you in the
it.
new Laughs Unlimited or the old Laughs?
I don't know.
The original one was like down an alley, and it was really low ceilings, and then they moved to like a warehouse. Was it a big, tall ceilings?
It was a little vaulted, yeah, maybe.
So you're in the second room.
The
second
first room because it went out of business, and then I think it restarted again. It's happening now.
The first room was a kill zone, like you can't even imagine.
Oh, really?
Yeah, murder.
Meaning that it went
murder
well.
central.
Okay.
Yes, I mean everyone crushed.
Old Town
Scott crushed with the same 15 minutes for
every week,
a decade.
Yeah, for a decade.
Yeah, something about it was fucking magical.
Oh,
and then when it moved to the new location, it wasn't. It was just another room.
Right. So here's what happened first in Chicago. I asked. It was before I realized that nobody else is asking if they can bring features. Everyone is just telling the club, "Hey, I'm bringing a feature."
Okay.
So I asked. They said no. So then I called my buddy, Robert Jenkins, and I said, "Are you working for Bert in Chicago these days?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm in with him." And I said, and I believe I said, "Can you call him?" And yeah, completely wrong. All
no.
me. So I said, can you call him and get in and work for me that weekend? And what Robert Jenkins heard was, "Do you want to work for me that weekend? With me that week?" So I didn't organize it. He did not organize it. We showed up. They had a different feature.
Okay.
And so
is the feature local?
Yeah.
Okay.
And but he Vince was telling me
local?
No, he's Detroit.
Oh.
So he came and he went to law school in Chicago, so he was staying with some buddies from law school.
Okay.
And so I was like, "I am so sorry." And Robert was like, he often does split feature weeks. Maybe we can do that. And it turns out that's what was happening over at Old Town Split. But I guess
What do you mean split?
Where they each do 10s.
Oh, I see.
10 or 15s, right?
Okay.
So they split the feature. And but the manager called Bert, or somebody called somebody, and they said Robert couldn't do it. But he could do a set that night, but that was it. And I was like, "Okay." And so I paid Robert for the week.
Oh.
And
hold on. Let me just get sick to my stomach for a second.
Well, and it was very funny because Todd Johnson was the guy who was featuring.
Right.
And Vince was there. But Vince walked out whenever it was a story about me headlining anywhere or other headliners besides him telling a story about headliners. It was such a weird vibe.
What? Okay.
It doesn't matter.
All right,
it was
thank
fine.
you.
And but both Todd was like, "I have worked with headliners who have never paid, the problem. They've made a mistake and they're like, oh, shit happens." And I was like, "Yeah, me too. A bunch of times." And you end up eating the money. And I don't want to be that headliner.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Who wants to fucking be that headliner?
Exactly.
You don't get to this point where you get to be the headliner and then turn into the fucking monster that you hated. I remember Bill Bauer making me drive 4 hours in my car, no gas. And we came back the same night because they wouldn't give me a hotel room. And he paid me $50.
Wow.
It was a bad gig. It was a bad deal. He asked me to do it again, and I was like, "No, I'm good."
He didn't give you gas money?
No gas money, and just $50 that I got for doing the set.
Ooh.
Yeah, and he insisted I drive.
Oh,
he was
my
like,
God.
Because he was like, I'm getting older.
Well, Jackie, you'd have to tap into his Social Security to pay you. Now, come on,
He's on a fixed income. I don't know if you know this. My favorite are people who are on a fixed income, but that income is enormous. And they say, "I'm on a fixed income."
It was fixed by my grandpa, Baron Hilton.
Exactly. And so that Wednesday was outstanding. It was set went really well. Thursday, Did not go well. Friday, 2 shows, killed. Just fine.
Rosemont?
Rosemont
Okay.
still. Saturday, 3 shows, destroyed all 3 shows.
Awesome.
Quite honestly, it was every show where there was not someone who had purposefully come to ruin the night for me and 230 other people, went very well. And the new hour went well, and I've been trying to figure out what to open with and stuff like this.
Yeah.
But on Thursday night, a woman came, and I don't blame the manager of the club is a young man, and he's in it for a little while, but it's a weird time we live in, and it's a weird experience. A woman showed up, and she was wearing a Make America Great hat, mega hat.
Can I tell you something? A story I read on Twitter. Somebody said that their father was dying, and the father was a liberal, and his brother, the father's son, was conservative, and he showed up wearing a MAGA hat on his father's deathbed just to piss him off. And he's like, I'll never forget that about my brother. And I think it's a thing of, I want to piss off these snowflakes. That's what some of these votes are about.
It was her birthday.
I mean, yeah. But I mean, for her, it's, I want to piss you off.
I want to piss you off, and I want to ruin the night for the rest of the audience. So here's the thing. So her boyfriend or husband or whatever, she looked like she was probably that super tight 60. Like, like super wrinkly, but skinny and fucking tight.
Right.
And her boyfriend or husband or whoever, dad, could have been anyone because he looked horribly old. He looked like Leonid Brezhnev.
Wow.
And I don't know why that guy got a slot in my brain. I can picture fucking Leonid Brezhnev.
He's very
distinctive.
We thought he was going to kill us in the when we were growing up.
Right. So very, very memorable.
Former premier of the Soviet Union.
Yes. And so I guess I found out later from Dan, the manager, that he had bought the tickets for her birthday. And then he sat just silently glaring at me the whole time. And they sat front row center.
Ugh.
And she whispered at me the whole during the set. So
like what?
Like she was just, I couldn't hear most of it, but she was like, how's it going? How's it going?
What?
How's it going? Smirking and whispering and glaring at me.
That's weird.
It's fucking creepy.
That's incredibly creepy. So it's not like tagging jokes or just trying to.
Nope.
Wow.
Hey, how's it going? How's it going? Like fucking staring at me
What
the
the
whole.
fuck?
It was creep factor.
She sounds insane.
She was fucking nuts. She was out of her goddamn mind, and he was out, and they were so mean, and nobody else could hear him. And so the next day I went in early to make sure it didn't happen again. Right? I was like, Kathleen Madigan said there should be a sign up that says no signs, no hats.
Yeah.
And Dan wouldn't put it up. He was like, I'm not doing it. I was like, this isn't a fucking rally.
Yeah.
If someone comes in wearing a Black Lives Matter poster board, I don't want them in the front row either. Right? I'm trying to this is a theater
Common
experience.
rules. Yes.
It's just, it's a business.
The
it's a
audience
show.
is not the star of the show. You sit in the darkness and watch us shine. That's your fucking job.
That's
okay?
the whole job.
Take your
That's
fucking
what you
hat
came
off.
for. Right. And so I asked her, I said, did you know that you were coming to see me? And she said, yes. And I was like, oh. And
so you were on stage when you were asking this?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so there was also, by the way, there were 60, maybe even 100 of a football club that had come for a fundraiser that Vince
Holy
had to
shit.
do. And so they lost their fucking minds because they couldn't hear what she was saying. All they saw was me attacking her.
Okay.
And then so one of those dudes, some dude bro, was like, he would not, like 3 or 4 minutes into me trying to talk around this woman and talk, because the thing is so you address it. And then you go back to the audience and you try to do your bits. And then you hear her talking to you again. And you're like, I can't fucking think. And so I guess we're talking to you again. And then.
So they just saw you talking to somebody in a MAGA hat and looking like you were being aggressive.
And eventually super aggressive. The next day, Dan said, did you. Because Dan was like, so I've been on the phone all day long.
Oh, fuck.
This means. Because I walk 60 people.
So
the football people.
Tell me how that happened.
Okay, so, but I will tell you this first, is that, because he was like, I had to talk to people all day long, which might be 3 calls. But whatever it was a horrible day for him, right?
Right.
It's a fucking, he's like, we got a 1-star Yelp review. And I found out Sam Morrill, who was the Old Town comic that week, he posted his TripAdvisor.
Yeah.
Because he had a mega fuck in Naples, Florida.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah.
I saw that.
And so, I was like, I'm never reading that Yelp review, and I don't care. But I felt bad for Dan for having to trash it. But I walked into his office, and he had had a shitty day. I was still scared from the night before and still in a shitty mood from that.
Yeah.
Because the only thing that fixes a bad set is a good set.
Right.
So I walk in, and Dan goes, sit down, in that tone of voice. And then goes, please. So I get defensive. He gets defensive. We're both defensive. And then we bring it back down to normal levels because we're both adults.
Right.
And we get it. And he got what I was getting and what I lived through. But at one point he goes, did you call her a Nazi cunt? And I said, not initially and not all at once. Not all at once. I said to her.
Not in that order.
And not in that order. Because I said to her at one point, have you always been a Nazi? And she said, yes.
Huh.
And at which point, gloves are off. We're done. If you're a fucking Nazi, I don't know how to talk to you, around you. And I was terrified.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I don't scare particularly easy. But I literally thought they were going to pull out a gun and murder me. And I told Dan that, and Dan said, with that sign on the door that says no guns. And I was like, that is very funny. And so anyway, so I get up. The feature, before the feature gets up, I say to him, hey, if you can walk her, that'd be great. Not realizing she is not going to be walked.
Yeah.
She has to be removed. I did hear later, somebody told me a great story about Roger Feeney, Ann Arbor.
Yeah.
Is that he once picked up a woman's purse and walked out of the room with it. And she followed.
Brilliant.
Yeah. And then he's like, and you're out of the room. Good for you. And it was awesome. So anyway, he gets up. He ruins her set. I don't know if he was talking to her or if he was just whatever. He has a hard set, but he's only doing 20.
So
and
wait,
he gets
so
off.
she's talking to him as well?
I don't know, but she got up several times so that the light was on her hat several times.
Okay.
And so she gets
very
up.
Distracting.
Right. Well, when Vince was getting ready to, she gets up, walks out of the room, walks in right as I'm starting, and sits down. And then starts whispering and saying shit and smirking. And I'm like, all right, you're wearing a fucking hat. Good for you. And I tried to do stuff, and then she's doing all this shit. And so then we get into it a little bit. And then the guy from the football club starts yelling, ignore her, just fucking do your act, just do comedy, just ignore. Literally screaming it. And I was like, dude, I don't know if you understand. This is how the show goes. Is I'm going to try to do that. And then I said to him, did you know that you were coming to see me tonight? And he was like, no. And I said, you do that a lot? Go to see bands and say, I hope it's ska or whatever fucking thing. And trying to get out of it. And he not realizing that was me trying to get out of it was like, you're just not ignoring her. You got to fucking. And so he's just giving me a lot of advice.
Oh, fuck.
And he wouldn't stop it. And nobody from the club shut him up either. So he leaves with 60 of his closest friends. And,
dude, that feels awful.
Well, what really felt awful was after the show, I go to the merch table. There's finally there's a guard dude. There's a door guy standing with me. And Brezhnev and the Nazi lady she comes and stands right in my face. And I was like, okay, you should probably leave. And she's just smirking and going, shaking her head. And the dude isn't doing it. And I was like, can you get her out of here? And he goes, I can't. The door guy. And I was like, okay. And then I laid hands on because she backed me.
What?
Yeah, she backed me into Leonid Brezhnev.
Oh my God.
She backs me into Leonid Brezhnev, and I'm terrified. I'm still scared.
Yeah.
Not happy about it. Not happy that and the next day Dan was like, well, they want to see the videotapes. They want to see the security footage. And I was like, please show them the security footage. First of all, there's no fucking security footage at Rosemont Zanies.
Oh my
if there
God,
is, there's
Jackie,
a video
this is
of the door.
Nightmare people. These are awful people.
They're terrible, terrible people.
Fuck.
And but as soon as I touched him, I said to myself, Oh, and now the door guy jumps in. And I was like, oh, no, I know it's over now. And I go and I hide in the green room. And then I sold $200 worth of merch when I came back out.
Oh my God.
And everyone who stayed hugged me. And a good dozen people came the next night and on the weekend.
No.
Yeah, to see it again. Because they wanted to see my act.
Wow.
They wanted to see me do stand-up comedy.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was a fucking shit show,
Yes.
obviously.
That sounds horrific. The people leaving is the worst, right? So
No.
it's not?
No, it's worse than the people who stayed.
Yeah.
The terrifying people who stayed. It is very bad when people leave. I agree. You are
Yes.
correct. How many people have you walked?
I don't know. I haven't had a mass. But here's the thing. That can happen at any time in your life.
Mm-hmm.
You're never safe from that.
No.
You know?
No, and then
God.
and it's nice if the club, you know, and the thing is it was chaos. So
Yeah.
I don't call Charlie on this.
It sounds like a tough one to manage, and
Yeah, I just like, here's the thing is they should probably, what Dan told me is that because the football club was furious as well. Mm-hmm. They were like, she did this thing where she couldn't control the room. And I was like, oh yeah, is that my job to control the room if they just start shouting shit? And I was like, you guys, Nick DiPaolo's coming here next month. Knock yourself out. And so what this couple did was they looked up who was playing at all the different clubs and decided to come to see me. It's just a little too close to Skokie for me, Rosemont. And I'm good. Remember the Nazis in Skokie?
oh my God,
Yeah.
right. That really sucks. But Kathleen Madigan has a great idea where you should not be allowed to wear any sort of political hats.
Yeah, I mean, I don't need to. And
Even a shirt could be kind of covered or whatever,
Yeah.
you know, but a hat is like you're blocking someone's view a little bit.
Anyway.
So, and people notice it, especially a MAGA hat. It's such a
Well, it's polarizing, and you know
yes,
that
very
it's
polarizing.
Are you here to see the show, or did you want to be the show?
Yeah.
Because if you want
They
to be
want to, so whenever anyone wears a MAGA hat outside a rally, they want to be the show. They want
Right.
to get yelled at on an airplane. They want to piss off somebody. So
right.
yeah.
I was wearing my Wisconsin Badgers hat, and posted some sort of selfie about it, and not that. Oh, I just bought it, and someone said, "Yeah, Pardo said that red hats are ruined," and I noticed after that was posted that people were kind of a little jerky around me. Red hats are they've been affected.
Yeah, they have.
They have been affected in life. Hey, why don't we do a break?
Okay.
And then we'll come back and do Comic of the Week.
Okay.
Hey, J. Keith.
Hey, Helen. I hear you have a true-false quiz you want me to finish.
I do. Here we begin. We host a trivia game show podcast on the Max Fun Network called Go Fact Yourself.
True.
Correct. The show is all about celebrity guests answering trivia questions about things J. Keith enjoys.
False. We sometimes don't talk about baseball or cats.
Thank God. It's questions about things they enjoy. Next, we bring on surprise experts every episode.
True.
Correct. Final question. It's just the two of us sitting alone with these guests.
False.
Correct. We have a live audience at the Angel City Brewery. See? You can hear Go Fact Yourself every first and third Friday of the month. And if you don't listen, you can go fact yourself.
True.
Okay. So comic of the week is this woman I saw maybe like 2 months ago or something. I forget. But I saw her flappers. Her
Yeah.
name's Brooklyn Jones.
Yeah.
Very funny.
And she made you laugh. You remembered her name, but you can't find her on the internet?
Yeah, I couldn't find her on Twitter, but maybe we'll try to find it before we put this up. But
Yeah, maybe Kyle can help.
Yeah, maybe she's got some name that's nothing remotely like Brooklyn Jones on Twitter.
Right.
But
I was updating the Jackie and Laurie Show on WordPress.
Oh, okay, great.
And putting and I had to go look up, and everybody's handle is something that is not their name.
Well, Annie Laurie 16 am
Right.
appalled. So yeah, but she's very funny, Brooklyn Jones.
Right. Brooklyn Jones, do
Yeah.
it. Mm-hmm. And yeah, and did you get the email from Max Fun that we're going to have to do an extra show?
Do an extra show.
We get to do an extra show. Oh, fine. Now get positive. And So I'm going to Indiana this week with Maria.
Oh, cool. Where you
Doing
guys
probably
going?
8 shows at the Helium.
Oh.
Indiana, brand new Indianapolis Helium.
Cool. Did it used to be in a different club?
Might have been at Crackers. I don't know. I've never
Did
been.
Crackers close? I
The
never worked
downtown one,
Crackers.
the downtown one closed, and then I think she reopened a downtown one.
Yeah.
But then they might. I'm pretty sure Broad Ripple is still there.
Yeah.
I still send her my avails. I don't get anything though.
we never connected. I worked one-liners. Did you ever work one-liners for Dave Wilson?
No, but I love the fact that it's called one-liners.
Oh, what was even better? So he's an Indianapolis comic. And he
Okay.
used to be on Bob and Tom a lot, and then he had his own radio show. And so he hosted a lot of the shows. And I have no idea the club. It was part of a complex.
Yeah.
So but it's all one-story complex. But so above the club is the roof has a plane halfway in the club, like the plane had crashed into the comedy club.
Oh, like the Fries.
Oh,
Like
is it
no.
Fry?
Fry's Electronics at all their different stores. It's
They
nothing.
do?
Yeah, they do a theme where the one over in Burbank has a UFO crashed into the front.
Okay. Well, a
Anyway.
plane crashed into a
Did
club.
it really?
After 9/11, probably not the best joke. But whatever. But you know what? It was a fun room. But however,
That's the answer to every gig that you've ever gotten. It's weird, but it's a fun room. I would do it again.
I would totally do it again. It closed. But Greenwood, it was Greenwood, Indiana. And that's, I guess, the home of the Klan. That's where the Klan started.
Yeah.
Or a version of it. I mean, it feels like 70 southern cities say that's where the Klan started. Who knows where exactly,
but supposedly in Indiana, in
Indiana.
between Indianapolis and Bloomington.
Oh, that's it.
That's where the Klan started.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That I'm looking forward to it. I've got a bunch of new merch. So
Yeah.
I also did Throckmorton this week. And that was really fun.
San Francisco, Bay Area.
In San Francisco.
Mill Valley.
And so the week after Indianapolis,
the
I'm doing the
place-
Punchline.
Right. That's the place Robin Williams used to go hang out all the time.
And Mort Saul still does.
Was he
And-
there?
No one. And Dana Carvey lives around there too.
Yeah.
And so they all hung out there all the time, and now they still hang out there a little. But Mark Pitta hosted the night that I was there.
So crazy.
It
I've
is-
known Mark my entire comedy career.
I'm sure he's Bay Area fixture.
Yeah, he was like on the morning show, Channel 2 morning show for a long time. So he was always able to, draw people, because he was like a local TV star.
Right. Well, I'm doing Punchline the week after next in San Francisco.
Oh, nice.
But they canceled my Wednesday.
Oh.
Because Michelle Wolf is doing Cobb's Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Okay.
But she also wanted a Tuesday and a Wednesday.
Oh.
And I don't know why she didn't just go to Cobb's
Well,
for Tuesday and Wednesday.
wouldn't you rather work the Punchline?
Always.
Yes. It's
But
such
the
a
old
small,
Cobb's-
perfect room.
The old Cobb's was even smaller and more perfect.
The old Cobb's was heaven.
Yeah.
A lot of these old rooms were heaven. Old ass Laughs Unlimited was heaven. Old Cobb's was heaven.
But
Yeah.
the current Vermont room is heaven.
Total heaven.
And the
Complete
current
heaven.
Bloomington, I'm going to Bloomington in a couple of months, and
Yes.
that is heaven.
Yes.
I wish it had a better place to sell merch, but that's not the point. The point is the comedy.
You know
Jackie.
what? Part of heaven is
Being a
sometimes
place
you don't
to
get
have-
to sell merch. You know what?
Right.
That's what you do in purgatory. You have to sell merch to pay for your life.
Right.
Heaven,
And
it's all expenses included.
all expenses paid.
I had to cancel my Bloomington when I had my aneurysm.
Oh,
I
did
haven't-
you?
haven't
Are you going back?
rebooked it yet? I haven't. I
Okay.
have like these limited weeks that apparently
That's right.
nobody wants.
And then we will not mention the name of the club that I told you was booking.
Yeah.
And then I asked him for a raise, and then he gave you a bigger raise.
Well, no, you said it's somebody that texts.
Yeah.
And they book by text once a year.
Yep.
And they do it in like 5 minutes, right?
Yep.
So you're like, I just got a text from this guy.
So he's booking right now.
So and you got a week. So I texted him and
And then you came back and you were like, what did he give you? And I said, I asked for a raise, and I told you.
Yeah.
And then you were like, oh, he offered me a little bit more than that.
No, I told you my money first.
Oh, that's right. You told me your money
did.
first, and I was like, God damn it! I had asked for a raise, and he, it's close,
Very close.
But it's the whole.
Jackie, don't be so competitive. It's very unbecoming. Just because I won this one doesn't mean I'll win all of them.
Right. How could you? and I rebooked the Livermore wine thing with Brian.
Cool.
Yeah. So,
Wait, you already did it and you're doing it again?
No, it got I had to
canceled.
cancel it.
Okay.
And so Kira Sultanovich was going to do it, and then it got canceled, and then so he rebooked both Kira and I.
Is it the same winery?
No, that winery is closing, I guess.
No.
Either that or it's the stand-up is closing there.
Oh, it's such a beautiful winery.
Yeah,
Oh
he's
my
got
God,
10
I hope they don't
wineries.
This one guy?
That guy, yeah.
Oh, all right.
You're fine.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you like wine, by the way?
No. I
Okay.
mean, it's fine. I don't dislike it. I don't have it that much.
This sort of non-alcoholic response to booze is always fascinating for me. Anyway, but good for you.
I was worried because I put CBD oil all over my knees. I'm like, oh, I hope this is okay for Jackie if I smell like hemp at her house.
Oh my gosh. I did a set the other night at La Cuevita. You know that Highland Park? It's called Rod Stewart Lives.
Right.
Or
Yeah,
Rod Stewart Live.
Live. Not lives. Live.
Is Rod Stewart still alive?
He is, and one of his albums is Rod Stewart Live.
Okay. And I have this to say. I did a Dork Forest today with Sarah Mowry. Do you know, remember her? She's a comic. Anyway, so...
Jackie, I swear to God, if you do this to me ever again, I'm going to strangle you.
Okay, well, that's how I'll
Here's
die.
what you do. I probably know Sarah Mowry, but I can't picture her right now.
Neither can I. She can't picture anyone.
But
Don't
she was
worry
just
about
at
it.
your house.
Yeah, I can sort of picture her.
Here's what you got to do. You go, hey, I did a thing with Sarah Mowry. And if I go, hey, oh, yeah, then
Okay.
I'm in. If
Do it
I'm
like
not,
that.
I'm like trying to remember and trying to figure it out.
order
But
of
it's
putting out the
fucking-
name.
Don't
Is that what I'm
ask
doing?
me. Don't ask me.
I
You
have
make me look like an asshole. This is
order
the third
of
fucking week in a
putting
row.
Out
God.
the name of a comic. You would like it done in a certain order.
Yes.
All right. Noted.
I can't match everyone's names to their faces off the top of my head.
Oh, are you kidding me? I
But
have
I
Leonid
got
Brezhnev
Leonid
in my...
Brezhnev, yes.
That's what I've got.
Yeah, he takes up a lot of space.
He has a big head. But where I am, we did Fleetwood Mac today, speaking of not remembering things, and she told me that Stevie Nicks is the lead singer of Fleetwood Mac, one of the lead singers.
You didn't know that?
No, I did
Christine
not know
McVie.
is a piano player for them.
Well, yeah,
Now-
but they sing together.
And then some guy named Lindsay, and
Lindsay
then a guy named
Buckingham.
Tom, and then a guy
Tom,
named
I
Mick.
don't know. Mick Fleetwood.
Sure. And so I learned a bunch about Fleetwood Mac today, and but it was one of those situations where I did not know people's names. So don't sweat it. I didn't know that Stevie Nicks was in Fleetwood Mac.
That's I don't
Odd
know what
to
to
you.
make of that.
Well,
Like if you were 28, I'd be like, oh,
She's
how can
28.
they know all that stuff?
Sarah Mowry's 28.
There's
They're
no-
all into this music. That
there's
just
no
all this
excuse for
music
you.
does is remind me that I can't roller skate backwards. Fuck you people. Gotta laugh. Good for me. I'll take it. So I picked up a set. I'm doing the Improv tomorrow night. It'll be over when this goes up. But,
Okay.
An 11 o'clock Saturday night set. That's always good.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
at. Let's see. I'm doing a benefit for a school tomorrow, and then I'm doing a Tammy Joe's show at the Comedy Store. I'm doing Bitch.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't done anything but the Improv. Like, I'm not in with the Ice House anymore. I've never been in with the Laugh Factory. Nobody, Adam had to tell me, he was like, "What? You never called in your avails." And I was like, "You are correct."
Yeah.
And so that was
is there
the
any
store.
way you can correct that?
Well, I think I would have to, what I have to do is I have to concentrate. You know how I was worried that I didn't have any work?
Yeah.
I have a bunch of work.
Really?
Yeah, a bunch of people called me. And
Yay.
so it's all good. Though some of the gigs, I don't know that I can do them. I might have to either ask for just some more money but I need the long sets because the album's coming together.
Wow.
I'm pretty excited about it. And, yeah, I think I was thinking about moving it up to March, but now I'm just like, no, I need the long, I might start doing those
What's your
afternoon
fucking
sets
hurry?
over at the clubhouse.
Yes, you should.
Have you been listening to any more of yours?
No.
Okay.
Jackie. I'm
Pardon-
sure.
Play with your hair.
I keep going. I keep thinking, well, I'm going to have this week, and I'm sure I'll want to listen to it.
You're kidding me.
This week I have off in February. I'm sure I'm going to want to listen to my material. I'm sure I'm going to want to do that during my daytime hours.
I asked Amy Miller and I would pay her to get rid of all of my tweets. So she erased all of my Twitter tweets.
Oh my God.
Every couple of years I like to erase all my tweets. And you know when it is?
Huh.
It's when I look at how many followers I have.
Yeah.
And then exponentially how many fucking tweets I've done.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want there to be 300,000 of me going, hey, thanks.
Right.
Here's a show here. Because I'm not saying anything
yeah.
particularly polarizing
Right.
online. But I was like, let's just start over. So I don't have any, I have like 9 tweets now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
All right. Do you worry you may have tweeted some jokes that,
Nope.
yeah.
Yeah, I figure it's much like love. It'll come back.
I know. You can't keep track of everything.
Can't do it. And I backed them up. You can download them.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. When's the last time we talked? Like 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, it was a long
Had I
time
gone
ago.
to New York?
I believe so. You had done. Yeah.
Oh, I just came back, right?
You had just got back.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
That's
Yeah.
what. So I'm leaving on Wednesday for Indianapolis. You're in town all week, right?
I'm in town for a while. We have the Writers Guild's Award awards. We were nominated, so I'm
Nice.
excited to lose, as we always do, to
Right.
one of the news comedy shows.
Right, one of the news comedy shows, but always fun.
Yes, but it's a fun dinner to go to. And then I'm
Maybe
gonna
you'll
be.
see Lindsey Buckingham.
Oh my God!
I just remembered.
You
his name.
interrupted my flow for that riff.
I apologize. Allow me to figure out where we're at. We're at
Maybe-
40. We're
Okay.
at 40. You want to take another break and then restart your riff and I'll leave it?
Yeah.
Yeah, might as well, right?
Yes.
We are so thrilled at your interest in attending Hieronymus Wigginstaff's School for Heroism and Villainy. Wigginstaff's beautiful campus boasts state-of-the-art facilities and instructors with real-world experience. We are also proud to say that our alumni have gone on to be professional heroes and villains in the most renowned kingdoms in the world. But of course, you are not applying to the main school, are you? You're applying for our sidekick and henchperson annex. You will still benefit from the school's amazing campus, and you'll have a lifetime of steady employment. Of course, there's no guarantee how long that lifetime will be.
Join the McElroys as they return to Dungeons & Dragons with The Adventure Zone Graduation, every other Thursday on Maximum Fun, or wherever podcasts are found.
All I was saying is I'm at the Sacramento Punchline.
Yeah.
February 14th through the 16th. That's a Friday through Sunday. It's Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day is on a Friday.
Bring your lady.
Bring
to see
your
me
fella.
On yes. Bring
Yeah.
whatever you fuck to my
Yeah.
show. That's
Man,
really important.
And how great would it be if you were in an open relationship, and so you were fucking lots of people?
Yeah, bring
all of
everybody.
them.
Yeah.
Bring them all.
Yeah.
Bring the whole team.
It's a bringer show. Bring her.
Bring her. Get it? I'm not working Valentine's Day this year. Very glamorous.
Oh, and-
My niece's bat mitzvah.
okay,
I'm going to Minneapolis.
cool. The week after that, I will be in Minneapolis. I will
You
be
doing
there.
Acme?
Yeah, I'm doing. I'm flying out. I fly back really early on the 17th.
Okay.
I'm doing a Sunday show at Sacramento. Then I fly out back on the 17th. I think there's school that day, or it might be. I forget if it's a holiday or not. If it is, I'm going to take my son to school. If not, we'll chill.
Yeah.
And then that afternoon, I go right back to the airport and fly out to Minneapolis and
Right.
get there late. But then I'm Tuesday through Saturday.
Oh, so you're going to get there on the
chilling.
Monday.
Yes.
That'll be nice because then you won't have to freaking.
Go right on
Yep.
stage from a long day of travel. Yes, I haven't been able to do that for a long time. Every time I've worked Acme, it's been some kind of crazy
Flying work,
tiny
flying
week.
work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like or Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or something like that. And
Yeah.
I haven't been able to do the full week there. And every time I'm there, I love Minneapolis. I love walking around that area.
You know,
I love
Ryan's
all those
living
little
there
shops.
again.
Ryan.
Ryan, who did the editing on 45.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
He's from Black Iris. Thank you. You saved my life on that one.
Oh, good.
He saved it.
He's really good at what he does.
Yes.
Yeah, Black Iris Media.
He's great.
Yeah, he did Horcrux for me.
He does. Oh, he knows comedy timing really well.
Yeah, he's got really good sense of edit. And
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, so I am trying to put up these videos, these caption videos on IG.
I saw.
And so I thought,
Are you hiring someone to do that for you?
yeah, Carmen Morales will edit the video for me. I could get it done for a nickel, but she could use the money and whatever. And and plus I can. So what I did was I looked at my 2003 Comedy Central Presents. And
Right.
Have I told you this story?
You have told me this story.
Okay, then I still haven't. It still hasn't finished, but the last 40 seconds wasn't on the half hour.
punchline to that
the punchline
joke.
of
Yeah.
that joke,
So
and I'm still beside myself. But I got Patrick Brady, who does the audio and video for Dork Forest, to add that 40 seconds onto the Comedy Central clip.
Great.
And then put a slug, and then we can just now that my joke is finished. I could fix North Platte like that too if I wanted to, because they also cut the punchline out of that joke. On my half hour.
Yeah.
Because
we forget. Now we can do whatever the fuck we want.
Right. It's a golden age of doing whatever the fuck we want.
Yeah, but why can't I do anything?
Exactly.
Why am I sitting in a corner rocking going, someone help me release this album. Somebody do something.
Yeah.
Take it out of me.
They will. If here's someone who will. They're talking to me.
What are they going to do?
They're gonna.
Oh yeah, me too.
Yeah. Oh, good.
But I mean, I have to listen to it first.
Right. Or you could let it go. You know, Bamford doesn't ever listen to it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
She's like, there it is. Do whatever you want with it. I'm done.
But doesn't she go, hey, this joke I told better here than here?
Nope. Not to my knowledge.
So who makes that decision?
The label. Mm-hmm. So, like right now, she's working on her new hour, and she's doing those afternoons at the clubhouse.
Right.
I think I'm going to do those just because
I would love to.
Even if
I
anybody shows up, maybe essentially just Jason Van Glass watching me run my hour. But some people would come, and I just need to, if I run it enough, and then try it out in the world. Mm-hmm. And then it'll flow better because it's already flowing better. I mean, if you think about it, I've done probably 30 hour-long, 45 to an hour-long sets in the last month and a half, and it is tightened up significantly.
That's great.
Yeah.
I'm happy for you. It hurts to hear
because
I'm just in a very limited capacity.
Well, because you just finished yours.
Well, but I mean, just of like. And turning over material, it's not going to happen at the same speed, and it hurts to hear people blistering through another hour.
Why don't you gloat in the $200 extra you're making at that one gig? You want to?
It's 100.
See, it mattered, and you remembered. Oh my god, I had another story. I wonder what it was. You got one?
Do I have a story?
Do you have any tale of stand-up comedy?
No, but like I've decided not to weigh in too much on the primary, and it's so surreal to me that a stand-up comic could now swing the election, with Rogan endorsing Sanders,
which I just heard about,
and then there's all these people. Everyone's got a very heartfelt opinion,
right? Well, here's the weird thing about because he, the defense I've heard about Joe Rogan backing Bernie Sanders and then Bernie Sanders using it in an ad.
That's what I heard. That's what upset some people, a lot of people. That was that. You could have anyone endorse you, but when you grab it and use it as an ad, you're
endorsing
as a politician.
them.
You're exactly, and Rogan has opinions that a lot of comics we know have, and a lot of dudes we know have that are a little anti-trans and anti a couple other things, and
because the riffing gets super dark and super mean sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, it's also like. It's when it's just comics kind of bullshitting at the same time, and like you and I, and it's sometimes everyone's trying to outdo each other.
Right. They're
it's hard
riffing,
to
but
take
it gets
super seriously. But people do; they'll grab a clip of it and take it very seriously.
Well, I mean, there's all these I mean, to not take comedy seriously anymore is almost impossible. Like, I think it started for me. I mean, you could say it started with Lenny Bruce, right? Mm-hmm. Or you could say it started with Bill Hicks. Mm-hmm. And then, but think about Kinison and Hicks, and then you move forward another generation. And I think it's like Dice Clay. Mm-hmm. He filled Madison Square Garden with people that he didn't like, right?
Right.
So his
maybe, I don't know, I guess, yeah.
Well, that's what I've heard, is that he was like, one of the reasons he stopped doing the character was because people were taking it super seriously.
So when he's on stage now, he's not doing that character?
I don't know anything. This is literally, it's a time capsule of information that I've got, sadly.
Okay.
And because I think he wanted the money. I mean, I don't know why he would start doing it again, but the money is, I think, hand over fist, right? And so I think,
Jackie, that must be nice.
That sort of Scrooge McDuck pile of money. I bought these pants in Mill Valley. I bought these pants. Guess how much these pants are? Very expensive because they were in Mill Valley with me.
Are they like my shorts that I bought at the airport? My skirts that I love so much.
I've been wearing them for 3 days, these pants.
I don't know I don't understand the Scrooge McDuck reference, and you keep making it, and you won't stop.
You never saw Scrooge McDuck?
No.
It is a cartoon about Donald Duck's grandfather, and it's the Scrooge story. And Scrooge McDuck is, he's Scrooge, essentially, done with Donald Duck as Scrooge.
Okay.
So he's sitting in a pile of gold coins in a cartoon. You can see it. You can picture it.
Yes.
There you go. Now you get the reference. Okay, but the fabulous, the money is a draw, but there's literally a point where, like, if you think about Louis C.K.'s audiences now, I mean, they're not the same audiences he had before he admitted what he did, right?
Right.
He blocked the door, and so now it's just a bunch of guys who are like, he didn't do anything that bad. And you're like, do you know what he did? And he's like, no, I'm just sick of people being accused of shit. And
here's the thing, like, comics start talking.
Like us.
And then it can get kind of kooky, right? People, it just gets super dark and it gets competitive.
Well,
and
it's early improv,
and it gets macho,
and you're throwing shit at the wall to see who can get shit to stick on the wall.
Correct.
But
whether
30 years into stand up,
but it's also like, it's weird because he's not he is a broadcaster, he's a podcaster, whatever, but he didn't come up like that. Like, the people that kind of came up and they wanted to be radio guys, that's a very different type of brain than a comic who kind of falls into podcasting and just is like, oh, I can keep doing the stand up, but in a different way.
Like Proops?
But Proops is a very different type of comic, right? It's just extending your stand-up brain into an hour or a 4-hour format.
Did you ever see Rogan's long set when he was doing stand-up? Is he still doing stand-up?
Yeah, he does stand-up. But I'm saying the media is treating him like he's Rush Limbaugh in a way,
or Howard Stern,
right? He's
more like Howard Stern.
Well, no, Stern isn't a stand-up, and he came up through radio. His dad's a radio guy, and Rogan is a comic, and who
fell into radio. Essentially.
Exactly.
Okay.
So they come from different places, but everyone's treating Rogan like
Stern,
kind of like Stern, or any sort of other, right-wing radio guy. Well, he's very different.
He's more like Stern than he's like Rush.
Maybe
he's going for laughs.
Output now. Yes.
Well, because Stern always went
Stern
for laughs
and
always went for
that
shock
now.
stuff. No, but back in but Rogan has only been doing his podcast for 10 years?
I know, but I'm saying the way he's trending on Twitter all day, and the way people are reacting to him being, someone that Bernie kind of, retweeted. It's like he's still a comic.
He didn't retweet him. He put him in the ad.
Right. No, I know. But what I'm saying,
there was production value.
I understand that. Mm-hmm. Okay. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying he's not. It's not the same as.
You think he should be? How do you want him to be treated?
I don't know, but there's a lot of people I follow on Twitter that aren't into comedy. They're activists, and they treat Rogan as if he is a radio and he's almost a news guy, like a lazy or kind of like a sloppy news
talking
guy.
head guy,
as opposed to a stand-up who has a podcast. And it's very weird to me because I agree with them on some things, then I'm like, I don't know.
But they treated Marin like that too when he supported Obama. The thing is he not only had Obama on the show,
right?
And I think Rogan has had Bernie on the show.
Yeah.
But they are very different comics. Mark Maron, Greg Proops, and Joe Rogan but they're all the same age.
Yeah.
They're the same generation as we are even. And
what I'm talking about is people on Twitter treating Rogan like it's almost like
but they treat Marin like that too.
Wait, let me finish the sentence.
But I got what you said.
I don't think you do.
What do you think I'm saying?
I don't know. I'm already tired.
Well, no, because you want. I think you want me to agree with you, but I don't.
But I feel like there's maybe you and I don't follow a lot of the same people on Twitter, but the people I'm following on Twitter, there's like a certain activist group,
yeah,
and they're
mad.
They're mad at something that I don't think it is as important as they think it is.
Okay, so you don't. I don't think it's as It's not really going to matter that Joe Rogan backs Bernie Sanders that Bernie Sanders backs Joe Rogan.
Yes, it could matter a lot.
Okay,
it could swing just enough votes in just enough key states
to matter.
It's just. I don't know. When I'm a comic and this other person's I don't know Joe Rogan.
Right.
But I mean, I feel
like you're defending Joe Rogan because he's a comic, but not because of what he is.
But I also think like if it's just a regular radio host, Mark Levin or something going off, it's a different person doing that than a comic who's just sort of rambling.
I think you're defending him as a comic, not as Joe Rogan. Like you're just like if a comic can be judged like this, then any of us can go.
No. It's not being judged. It's being the fear of his influence. To me, is overstated, perhaps.
Because I think that his influence is very great among a certain pile of haircuts
who might not vote. Anyway,
right, but maybe he's going to get them to vote, and that might not be bad. I mean, Bernie Sanders as president, it will be ineffective, but he might be able to roll back some of the things that have happened. Like he won't get anything done. Well, but he won't be worse.
Who knows? Let's not.
No, I know that Bernie Sanders will be better than Donald Trump.
No. I'm
completely.
What Bernie would be versus Warren. That seems.
No,
like
I'm not talking about Warren or Kamala or Buttigieg or whatever. Buttigieg. I'm not talking about it. If he can get Bernie Sanders elected over Donald Trump, yay! Yeah. I'm all for it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. The things that Joe Rogan does say.
I feel weird condemning Joe Rogan, and I wouldn't feel weird condemning Mark Levin. No, not Marin. Mark Levin or Rush Limbaugh for saying the same things, because I feel like they.
How about Howard Stern? Because that's more of a gray area. Because he's not a comic, but he's also not. He's not just a. He's a button pusher, but I don't think of Howard Stern.
I put him in the Rush Limbaugh category. Stern.
Sternwood?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, I think that anybody that has that big of a following as a podcaster and as a comic, just the kind of jokes that I've seen have been clipped, right?
Right.
And they're out of context.
That's another thing. That's another problem. When someone's doing a 3-hour podcast and you grab a tiny portion of it.
Who is doing a 3?
A lot of people.
And that's the first problem.
Yes. It really is a problem.
Yeah.
It really is. You do need
an hour.
A hard out. And more than ever, we need an audience to tell us, ooh, that one's not funny.
Right. It'd be great if he was doing a live show.
But that's not what's happening. And
he's in a studio.
People are making tons of money doing whatever they're doing, so that's fine. So, but what's going to happen as a result of that is there's going to be clippable moments because you're just
3 hours. You're
going to
tired.
dive into certain parts of your brain, and you've got a lot of time to kill, and it's not being edited out because the exploration of the brain is apparently the thing we all worship.
They're not doing Dana Gould's podcast, which has more production value than many television shows.
Oh my God.
There's a lot of editing.
Yeah.
But I know that the kind of comedy that he does just isn't necessarily always for me. The stuff I've seen, but I haven't seen him do comedy in 15 years. So I don't know. And he used to do this sort of, hey, I'm a good-looking fist of a kid, like he's kind of a tough guy. He had this tough guy thing, and it was a lot of guys were doing comedy like that, where it was just about bitches and his wife and other people's. I mean, there was a lot of that. Sometimes it's funny, sometimes it is not.
Right.
And sometimes some of his fans, what I've been told, lean towards the meaner the better, And I've never been a fan of mean comedy. That doesn't mean that people don't love it.
Well, I like good jokes. Like Jeselnik, I love.
Jeselnik's amazing.
Yeah.
And super fucking mean.
Very mean.
Right.
But if they're good
different.
jokes, who cares?
But the difference is that the meanness isn't. I'm going to say something that isn't entirely true. The meanness isn't entirely just to be mean, because Jeselnik will write. You'll get a joke that you're like, dude, you purposefully wrote the meanest. But the meanest,
a lot of them are purposely
funniest joke.
Yes, yeah.
And there's something. It's what I've said before about Stanhope, is that it doesn't seem to come from malice. It doesn't seem to come from a hatred of it. It comes from a love of the language. Some with Jeselnik, I think, and with, and with Stanhope, it seems to come from a love of the insanity of people's lives.
Right. There's an addiction to the chaos of the crowd. Yes. How much time have we done?
We have another 30 seconds.
Okay.
So what would you like to tell people going forth?
I'll be at the Punchline in Sacramento.
I'll be at the Indiana Helium in Indiana.
That's good enough, right?
MaximumFun.org.
Comedy and culture.
Artist owned, audience supported.